Hello everyone and welcome to Sunburned Albino's PlayStation E3 2018 discussion. I'm going to talk about the things I think are worth talking about, mostly in the order they happened in, and I'm going to do it right now. Number one, the whole damn situation at the beginning. I don't understand this press conference in the slightest, because it started out with people giving a speech in like a carpeted gymnasium. Sean Layden came out there dressed like a faith healer, and all the non-game media seemed to be shot with an iPhone. I felt like I was watching someone's Snapchat story of a church press conference. Now, Sony had been sure to state numerous times that their E3 showcase was going to be a little different, but they failed to mention the giant dip in quality. Number two, a banjo performance? Hype. Much like Bethesda's conference, it took them almost 10 minutes to show an actual game, electing instead to liven up the crowd with a dark and moody banjo song. Imagine Steve Martin on antidepressants, and that's basically what happened here. And I mean, it was technically good, but why are you doing this right now? You think anyone flies there from all over the country and world and piles into an E3 tent? Like, I hope they don't show games right away. I'm not mentally ready. If you could summon the Antichrist with a banjo, this performance would be how you do it. Number three, The Last of Us Part 2 and The Kiss felt round the world. The first game up on Sony's roster was Naughty Dog's The Last of Us Part 2, a widely anticipated sequel for a game many people felt was the highlight of the last console generation. The room was quickly, mildly divided, however, as a scene with a more grown-up Ellie and some other chick ended with a Leslie lip lock that whipped the chat into a frenzy. 40% were like, OMG, I'm so hard right now. Another 40% was like, ugh, disgusting. And the other 20% was still just putting the words Battle Royale and Despacito 2 everywhere. It transitioned into a gameplay segment full of stealth kills and combat that ran for a good 10 minutes, and by the end of it, everyone had forgotten about the girls making out. Just kidding, people were still going at it. I was watching the GameSpot stream, which had slow mode enabled, so you can only type a message once every 30 seconds, but I saw repeat names several times over, which is funny to think of someone yelling, "Lesbians in a game? Will not buy!" and then patiently waiting 30 seconds to be like, "SJW garbage!" and then waiting another 30 seconds and going, "Naughty Dog, you piece of shit!" Dedication. It's weird because if you played The Last of Us DLC, you'd already know Ellie was Leslie, but I guess that just proves people don't care about historical precedent when they're condemning a modern agenda. Conversely, I found a tweet of someone with a screenshot of the kiss and a caption that read, "If this made you uncomfortable or annoyed, you're homophobic, period. Don't at me." So I retweeted him instead with a comment saying, hey, that's a blatantly stupid generalization. For one, that scene scared nobody, which is the root definition of phobia, and for two, I thought it was gross because 10 seconds beforehand, one of the chicks had literally just confessed to not showering for a long time. Is that when you really want to rub your face against somebody? Take that makeout scene to a bathtub and I'll enjoy it a lot more. Moving on to the actual game, it looks amazing. The combat is full of interactive situational elements and the new dodge mechanic makes the hand-to-hand feel like God of War. However, what I didn't see in the trailer was any zombies. It was all human-on-human action, no clickers in sight. So there's a lot more to learn about The Last of Us Part 2, but it feels like a winner in my book. Number four, weird cutaway panels. So after The Last of Us Part 2, it cut to a panel of hosts that started talking about what had just transpired, and I don't understand this because they said they were killing time while everyone filed out of the initial E3 tent and into another one, and that the rest of the show was taking place in a new location, but my question is fucking how come? Why didn't you do the whole show at that second place, which looked way better than the first one and was shot with a real camera? The whole Sony conference was just this disjointed jumbling of moving parts that did not fit together with this now imposing intermission happening, and it was just a huge momentum killer. Number five, another obstacle of a musical performance. So once everyone was seated in the new location, they kicked things off with an H. John Benjamin looking motherfucker in a robe playing some kind of old Asian wind instrument for exactly the right amount of time, not. It was to introduce Sucker Punch's new game, Ghost of Tsushima, but we all could have done without it and should have. Number six, Ghost of Tsushima. Holy shit, it's beautiful. Anyone who saw it, that's all they can talk about. The landscapes, the lighting, the shadows, the foliage, the horizon, it's all magnificent. Ghost of Tsushima is an open-world samurai game set during the Mongol invasion, and it showed traversal, stealth mechanics, and crowd combat. It looked like, it felt like Assassin's Creed combat-wise a little bit. It's definitely not Batman-esque, or Dark Souls for that matter, but the combat looked solid, and while they didn't give a release date, it's a game to get real excited for. Number seven, Dreams video transitions. You guys know Dreams, right? Media Molecule's game where you can make dreams and create literally anything, otherwise known as my most anticipated game of all time. Well, they cleverly used the transitions between set pieces to show off a little cartoon flavor of what you're capable of creating in Dreams, and it's darling. I am gonna lose myself in that game, I swear. Number 8. Kingdom Hearts 3 shows the gorgeous life of a pirate, among other things. Pirates of the Caribbean was also a world in KH2, but seeing how a million times better it looks in KH3 is just an absolute breathtaker. The frozen and tangled worlds look better than the movies they represent, and all the cutscenes shown are in-game footage, nothing's pre-rendered. The dialogue and story highlights are meant for veterans to understand. Make no mistake, you do not want to play this game without playing what's come before it, and as a result, it's easy dismissal fodder as gay or lame for anyone embarrassed by their own lack of understanding. But if you've locked your inner child away and starved him for years or even decades, maybe consider how mean and stupid that is and give him a fucking sandwich. Number 9. Death Stranding turns into an actual game. Make no mistake, I still have not even a semblance of a clue of what's going on there. I see Norman Reedus rip his toenail off and strap a fetus on like a fanny pack. I get more questions than answers. What I can glean is a third-person, narrative-heavy world with a focus on harsh terrain and dangerous creatures. I have no idea what I'm in for with this game, other than probably an assault on my cerebral cortex. Looks dope, though. Number 10. Nioh 2 is a tiny reveal that should have been huge. All we get is a cinematic trailer, but the implications of a guy who looks like Hanzo, I don't think it's William at least, ripping out his horns and unleashing his inner demon to cheat death really sets the mind rolling with what kind of demonic powers we can expect to have access to in the next Nioh. Nioh was my game of the year for 2017, so if they can add even more cool shit and literally turn us into a demon, I think Nioh 2 has the potential to follow suit. Number 11. Spider-Man cements itself as Game of the Year material. A long and revealing look at a section of Spider-Man shows how fluid and varied the combat is, and shows several of the main villains you'll be coming up against simultaneously, like Scorpion and Mr. Negative, which is a guy who appears photo-negative, and not just some dude that's like, man, I'll never be Employee of the Month. I don't have much to say about Spider-Man because not once since it was announced have I ever faltered in my belief that Insomniac Games is going to hand us a masterpiece. This game can't fail. I don't see how it's possible. Number 12. Nobody knows if the presentation is over or if it's just another stupid intermission. Twitter had to inform me, and everyone, that the show was done. Sony's conference began stupid, it ended stupid, but the middle was a grand old time. Well, that's going to do it for this video. I hope you enjoyed it. I've got another one on Bethesda out already with more to come for the others. Like, share, and subscribe, and I'll see you guys next time.